Shut up and sit down.
It's where the big boys play. SICW.
All right, everybody, welcome to Square Reading Podcast. Today is our Fan Fest Spectacular, our lead up to the Fan Fest 3 in St. Louis at the Hilton this coming Friday and Saturday. So when you watch this, it'll be tomorrow night for the Bill Abner Q&A with some pro wrestlers. And then starting at 10 a.m. the next morning, we'll start the meeting of the legends. But before we get into that, let's run down through the commercial really quick. And then we have some bad news we have to get to, and then into good news.
This Friday and Saturday, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling presents SICW Fan Fest 3, featuring Jerry the King Lawler, Dory Funk Jr., Tito Santana, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Nikita Koloff, Abdullah the Butcher, Kevin Von Erich, The Rock and Roll Express, Rikishi, Shane Douglas, B. Brian Blair, Dr. D. David Schultz, Bob Orton Jr., Jacqueline, Bill Apter, Missy Hyatt, Teddy Long, Baby Doll, Jerry Briscoe, and many more. Plus, Dory Funk Sr. will be inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame by his son, Dory Funk Jr. Also being inducted is Crusher Blackwell, Butch Reed, Greg Valentine, and Ivan Koloff. Plus, SICW will pay tribute to Wrestling at the Chase, celebrating what would have been its 66th anniversary on the air. SICW Fan Fest 3, brought to you by your friends at the Pro Shirt Shop on Alaska Avenue in St. Louis. For embroidery, screen printing, banners, and more, it's the Pro Shirt Shop. Also by Mr. Barbecue's Bar and Grill in Columbia. Also, special thanks to the Hilton St. Louis Airport. Get your tickets now at SICW.org.
So, Fan Fest, we have some bad news we need to get to. Sabu, he was supposed to attend this Fan Fest, but unfortunately, he did pass away a few days ago. So,
Very sad news.
He just hit his retirement match, what, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Not that long.
3 weeks ago, yeah. The week of WrestleMania. And he was actually one of them that I was looking forward to. You know, I just got his wrestling figure in, his latest one, the Bendies. And really, you know, I told stories before how I ran into Sabu many a times, but I never took a picture with him, never, got his autograph. And so I was actually going to sit down this time and talk to him again, and then, get that picture that I was waiting for. But
I would say don't wait.
Yes. And let me just point out one thing before Nate does. If I'm looking a little swole this time, it's not because the steroids that I take. No, I'm just kidding. I've got poison ivy all over me, and my face is all swelled up, and I am itching like crazy. And I'm trying to get rid of this before our show Saturday. So, gonna be crazy. But yeah, to get back to Sabu.
No, wait. You're being modest. You fought Mike Tyson, and he wasn't paid to take a fall like he was for Logan Paul. That's what it is.
That's true. He dotted me in both eyes. I didn't learn once. He had to teach me twice. But yeah, we had spent one of our past podcasts just talking about Sabu and what he meant to the business and his extreme wrestling style that he had, and his no regard to his own body, whether it be having it sliced open from barbed wire matches, or being set on fire, or jumping from the ropes over the protective gate and into the audiences. He's truly going to be missed. And for a guy who just had his retirement match, it's a shame, because you always hear, don't ever retire, because if you do, then you give up. But
Lose your
I don't know,
purpose.
And
man.
to have a heart
But, like,
attack at age, just crazy.
What's even more impressive with that, you mentioned like all the crazy things he's done. Like, we're talking about this, and I can't think of anyone he has truly hurt besides himself in the ring. Like, he has always seemed to take care of his opponent.
yeah, even when his opponent's not taking care of him. And I'll just throw that out there because, Chris Benoit broke his neck in a match. And that's how Chris Benoit got the name the Crippler, is because he broke Sabu's neck. And over the past, couple days, I've been listening to podcasts about him and tribute shows. And right before I got on our podcast, I was watching a tribute show to ECW on YouTube. Because all these guys just got together a couple weeks ago. I think it was not this past Sunday, it was the Sunday before. And, Rob Van Dam was talking about it, how he had just seen him. And Bill Alfonso was, just talking to him that Sunday as well, because they were doing a tribute. And, of course, he didn't have a match or anything, but everyone said that he looked good. Now, there is some rumors, and I want to kind of stop this rumor. There's been, if you guys paid attention to Facebook or seen anything going down, a lot of people saying, oh, he took a bunch of drugs before his last match just to get through his match. And then they named the drug of kratom. And I'll tell you right now, kratom is not a drug stimulant like everyone's posting it about. I'm actually a big person to promote kratom because it's definitely an all-natural substance that you take to get yourself off of drugs. So,
Well, and
for
kratom
people to
wouldn't
be
give you a heart
posting,
attack 2 weeks later anyway.
right? For people to be posting that it was the kratom that did it, they're just full of shit. When I was doing my research on kratom, they were saying that you can't overdose on that thing. It's all natural. If anything, it give you like a caffeine high because it's from the coffee plant. But yeah, wouldn't kill him. I'm sure he's taken a much stronger stuff in his lifetime. Yeah, so definitely sad news. Really wish he would have been at the Fan Fest. Because I would have liked to grab one more picture with him this time. And, it just brings us to the point that I try to preach here every time on the podcast about going to Fan Fests, because unfortunately you never know what legend will pass away. Unfortunately, it's sad to say it like that, but it's the truth. 1 year we lost 6 of them. And that was just a couple of years ago. And so now, right before the Fan Fest, Sabu passes. So, and, me and Herb were even talking about it today. And we were talking about it being Sabu. And then even Kevin Von Erich. Because we've had Kevin Von Erich before at a SICW show. Granted, it was probably about 10, 11, maybe even 12 years ago. It was a long time ago. But at that point in time, I wasn't, taking pictures of the legends and, getting their autographs. I love talking to them, and I'll talk their ear off, and I'll, listen to them talk my ear off. But I wasn't all about, getting pictures with them and their autographs. And I told Herb today, I was like, that's my main goal this time, is to get the autographs that I want from the people that I know. And it's something that he said that, he's been doing this for 52 years. And just maybe the past 10 years is what he's been doing, is, getting those memories in picture form, or even having them sign. Like when Hacksaw came in, he said he had him sign a 2x4. You know, it's stuff that you will remember them by. So I'm just gonna just throw these out here. You know, so this weekend I'm gonna get the Rock and Roll Express to sign this guy. You know, that's us celebrating after a show. You know, having some beers. You know, Tito's coming back in, so I'm gonna have him sign this guy. You know, and
Now,
this is
weren't
all
you supposed to
stuff.
have? I thought you were supposed to have a picture of him holding that picture, and then you're going to
No,
print that picture.
no, that was actually Jim Duggan, and it was his
Oh, okay.
idea. Yeah, because I went to Jim and I said, "Hey man, can you sign this for me?" And he looked at it. He goes, "Oh, that's me and you together." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, let's have a picture of us holding the picture of us." I was like, "All right." Yeah, he's already signed that one for me. But I'm gonna get Abdul to sign this picture. This is a great memory, and I say this because I was there, help him out of the car. This was when he wasn't doing too good. You know, now, you know, DDP is taking control of him basically and helping him get out of this wheelchair. Kind of like Lex Luger, how Lex Luger can now stand. Granted, he can't walk a great distance, but from being wheelchair bound for years and being able to stand and walk to the podium at the Hall of Fame, you know, DDP is working wonders.
That's great
And
progress.
right, and this one is not for our fan fest, but it's for our Iowa.
Waterloo, Iowa.
Yeah, and that's because Demolition has always been one of my favorite tag teams, and you know, to get them to sign that picture, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, meeting your idols. You know, they say don't meet your idols because it disappoints you. I say idols have bad days and good days. And out of all the all of the wrestling legends that I've met, there was only one time that I ever had a problem with a legend, and it's not going to be the same one that Nate had a problem with. But
I don't know if you call him a legend though.
he's a legend. But you know, this guy had just got fired from WWE. He was disgruntled. He was an alcoholic, and he came into MMWA when we were working there, and just had a piss poor attitude. Now, just like the example with Nate with Buff Daddy, you know, he was, like I said, it was a bad day for him. Had to be a bad day because he was a bit of a pain in the butt that day. But since then, me and Bobby's met and talked to him, and those days were great. You know, he would bend over backwards to do whatever you wanted. You know, if you know, he even got in the ring and cold clocked Glenn Williams, which is great.
I
Yeah,
always
see,
like seeing that.
that leveled it for me.
But at the same time, you know, all the boys got pictures taken with them, and it was a great night. So, you know, legends have their bad days, but you know,
Well, let
you've
me
got
preface
to
it.
come to them.
I had no problem with Buff up until he put hands on me, and then I had a problem. And then he went away. So that was it.
But yeah, so definitely come out to the Fan Fest. Bring your pictures, bring your books. You know, Adol the Butcher is going to have his book that's coming out actually this weekend. So you guys at the Fan Fest will be the first ones to be able to grab that book and have him sign it right then and there. You know, so that's going to be great. But definitely, you know, some of these legends are not going to be coming around much longer. Kind of like one of the legends that's coming in, Dory Funk Jr. He's already talking about this is his last time. He's not leaving the state of Florida no more. You know,
We brought him in. I got pictures with him. It had to be probably 12 years ago when we brought him in. I think Landon was like 2, is what my pictures are, and he didn't look like he got around great that time.
Right. And this is a man who just last year had his last match. That's crazy. He had a match in Japan. It was a tag match, and it was a hardcore match. So crazy, crazy, crazy. But he's going to be in the Midwest one last time. So if you ever wanted to meet him, this is the time to do it. Because other than this, he's one of those guys that's up in age and doesn't want to leave the house anymore. But he's doing this visit because he's inducting his dad into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. So it's very special for him to come in. But other than that, he's done. So go ahead and flip through these pictures so we can just talk about these legends that are coming in. Bill Alfonso, like I said, I was just watching the tribute match, and he had a match. He got busted open, but he had a match. So it's crazy that these guys are still going at it. Now, Bill said that he's going to come in and, him and Shane and Dudley Devon is going to do a little tribute to Sabu, because those are our ECW legends that are coming in. So I'm sure there's going to be some great stories told about Sabu over the weekend. So you don't want to miss this stuff. This is the stuff that's, as a wrestling fan, or even just a fan of celebrities, just to hear their stories, preferably to hear them from themselves. But in this case, I'm sure we're going to work into a tribute. But yeah, definitely Bill Alfonso's coming in. He works for a belt maker. They make the ECW belts. They make some of the old NWA belts. So he's going to bring in a bunch of the ECW belts that you can buy there at the Fan Fest. So that's going to be a cool collector's item. Gangrel, I was helping set up where all these legends are going to be posted up for the Fan Fest. And I was talking about Gangrel because, he was he was called the Vampire Warrior before coming into WWE. And great stories you can find on YouTube about him. He talks about how his career was just luck. He just happened to be training at the right place and got seen by the right person who invited him in to be backstage at a WWE event. And then it just so happens, just like Gary Jackson always says, bring your gear. Because at that event, there was a worker that no-showed. And, hold on. Do you guys still hear me? Because
Yeah, I can hear you.
my computer just clicked off there for a second. But anyway, a wrestler no-showed, and they said, "You're a wrestler, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, well, we're going to put you in, and you're going to have a match." And so, it's just luck, But, yeah, so I can't wait to meet him. But this guy right here, he is the guy that I'm going to go after and meet. Because, like I said, 10, 11 years ago, he came in, and it's not that I was too proud to take a picture of him, but I felt like I wasn't, good enough to be, or something like that, to have a picture taken with him. I tell stories about it all the time about my father. The Von Erichs was my dad's favorite wrestling family. And I've got, hopefully it comes in before Friday. But from the movie that we've seen all together, The Claw, there was actually a wrestling figure of Kevin Von Erich, but of that movie actor that played him. And that wrestling figure I got ordered, and I'm hoping it comes in this week before FanFest, because I'm going to have him sign that, because WWE only produced one figure of Kevin Von Erich, and that thing is on eBay for like $450. And there's no way I can spend $450 on one action figure. I did buy the special edition of his brother, though. and this one is very cool. This is they call it the Platinum Edition. I'm sorry, the Diamond Edition. It's just only 2,000 of these figures ever made. So I did pick that one up. So I don't know if I'm going to have him sign that one. It's his brother.
Is that number 1 of 2,000?
Oh, I didn't
That
want to
and
break his heart.
when we went to watch the, at the media event for the Iron Claw, I grabbed the producer's poster from the producer of it that was there. So I'm going to have him sign that.
Yeah. And I'm not going to stress it enough. Bring your stuff. The stuff you want to have signed, bring it. Because, he's the last one. I mean, he's got his twins who are off and on trying to carry the torch, but none of them are like really full-time wrestlers.
Well, I heard through the grapevine that the twins really don't want to do it.
And the rest of the family's tried. Lacey Von Erich, Carrie's daughter, she tried it. She was in TNA for a little while, and I think
she was pretty,
Kevin,
but there was no wrestler.
Yeah, so I mean, and then they tried their hands on promoting again too. Lacey was part of a Texas promotion, and that promotion's not up and running anymore. Teddy Long was part of that promotion too, but at least Teddy's still in the business and still travels. Of course, he will be at our Fan Fest, him and Mac Davis, and I think they're going to do one of their podcasts this weekend. I know Mac Davis is going to do. Mac Davis gets around, and he's on so many podcasts, and I know he does one with Bobby Heenan's the guy that left WWE to Vince Russo. Let's say if I start talking about the situation, then I know it. But he does a podcast with Vince Russo, and they're going to do it at the Fan Fest. Vince Russo will not be in town, but they do it like how we do it. So be kind of cool to sit there and listen to his podcast go out live.
Every year, Vince Russo, and we might have to pay others to come to the Fan Fest.
Nice. All right, so
Sonny's coming back.
Yeah, so Sonny was there. Was it last year or the first year?
I think it was last year
when they did all the Glow Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, because wasn't Lily her bodyguard?
Wasn't who?
Wasn't Lily her bodyguard last year?
I have no idea who her body. Oh, Lily. No, Lily was. She was doing another lady, Wendy Richter, I think. But yeah, Sunny, she helps promote all the other women wrestlers. So and she does bookings for a lot of the guys too. So it's always good to have her in town. And she's a cancer survivor because at the CACs she was there last year talking about how she survived cancer, and she actually gives away one of the awards at the CACs for people that fight, their problems, their medical issues that they have, kind of like a bravery award. So very cool. Man of the hour right here, man. Shane Douglas, like I said, we did a deep dive on him too, and how he was part of what changed the wrestling business, what started the ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, by dropping the NWA belt in a trash can and being done with it. So it's going to be very cool to have him back. And he's of course, he's going to be there with Bel Alfonso and Devon Dudley. So we're going to have a nice little Extreme Championship Wrestling reunion right there for us as well. Again, we wish Sabu was there because that would have made 4 strong. But very cool to have him in. Maybe we
Yeah,
can get him to whip Nate with a kendo stick or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean,
That would be
I was
fun.
willing to put my title on the line against him, but then they signed Fender, so.
Well, I'll be in the ring, so he can jump in anytime. I'll just be in the ring with Mac Davis again.
Yeah,
Just like every year.
Yeah, and just like the picture I showed, I have their autographs already, but I think it'd just be very cool to have their autographs on the picture that I'm in as well. They
See,
did.
I always mix up their names. Is it Morton is the blonde one?
Yes. And
He
Robert
is just a funny. He is just funny in general. Just like he will bust out some jokes out of nowhere. Just like natural, outgoing personality. Like I
Yeah.
highly recommend people go and talk to them.
What was really cool is that the CACs they do drawings, and they you buy tickets to these drawings, and I just happened to win this particular year. It was like a southern, like the Memphis type area of wrestling, Mid-South, Memphis, and all the lower states. And everyone that was there from the Mid-South area signed a turnbuckle pad. And I got the ticket that was drawn. So I actually got, Tommy Rich is signed on it, and a couple other guys from the Mid-South areas. So it was very cool to have that turnbuckle, have all those guys' autographs on it. But again, I'm going to have them sign the picture of me in it too. So just make it a little bit more special. And Rikishi, this family lineage is just crazy right now in the WWE. His basically it's a family reunion every week on Monday Night Raw. He's got his kids, his nephews, and everyone else in there. Very cool guy. When a fat guy dances, you can't help but to laugh and get behind him. And when he does his dance, it hands down, he's a fan favorite. Plus, if you go against him, you get that option of getting a stink face, and you don't want that. Maybe we can do that to Nate. Yeah.
No, I think Bobby,
I think he would probably like it too much.
I think Bobby wants that one.
I already got a match, Nate. It's up to you.
No. Well, I don't think he'll be wrestling that night, but it would be cool if he at least got up in there.
Nate or
Well, I don't think Nathan's gonna wrestle either, but still be cool if we can get Rikishi up in the ring and have him do his little strut. That'll be, me, you, Bobby, and Rikishi up in the ring. We can, I can do the worm at the end of the dance. Make it a little exciting for everyone.
You know what? I'll ask him, see if he'll come in the ring with me then. Huh? And then you two will have to come in the ring too.
Hey, I'll
Get
bring
her
the
to the ring,
sunglasses, and we can get down with Rikishi. No problem with that.
I already bring sunglasses to the ring, so I'm set.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Now, this guy was just added today. Now, if you're a fan of WCW, you know him. Kind of cool. He was a mid-card wrestler in WCW. Bobby, do you remember most of his matches?
That's Mr. Hughes, the big cat.
Yes. He was basically just a brawler. He was there as a bodyguard for a lot of people, and then they got him in the ring and he started wrestling, and he would just beat the crap out of you. I haven't seen it or heard from him in a while, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what he's doing, what he's been up to. So I think this is one of the first fan fests that he's been coming to, that he's going to go to. So it'll be kind of cool to see him. I love the people that normally don't go out to fan fests, the legends. So it's kind of cool to get him in here, since he doesn't go out to many of them.
Here's one for Bobby.
Definitely. If you're a fan of the NWA, Mid-South, I think she was in Mid-South too, and WCW for a little bit, Missy Hyatt. And if you know the Wars, huh?
Or Baby Doll.
or Baby Doll. Oh yeah, both of them are on there. So the wars that Nikita Koloff and Dusty Rhodes have had over Missy Hyatt uh, back in the days, those are legendary wars because, she sided with Dusty for a while, and then Nikita stole her away, and then Dusty had to fight to win her contract back. So it was kind of crazy, but yeah. So both of those going to come into town. Be a great time. So definitely, if you remember, oh shoot, and this guy still a current wrestler. He right now he is the heavyweight champ for MLW, Major League Wrestling, and sometimes he's in AAA. So I'm kind of wondering, is he back in the WWE fold or is he not? Because they just bought AAA out, so they're buying a lot of those contracts. So if he has a good contract with AAA, he could possibly work his way back in the WWE. So that'd be kind of interesting to see. There's a
It'd be interesting if he threw his name in for the Bruiser Brody Cup too.
Yeah, the only thing is go ahead.
I said another connection with TKO buying AAA. He also is an MMA fighter as well.
Yeah.
So like he's got a couple different connections to the company.
What was I gonna say? There's another wrestler. There was another wrestler that's currently the AAA champion. Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio. Yeah, there we go. Now he's a guy who is technically blackballed by the WWE for different allegations that came up on him, and he was let go a couple times, and then the last time he was blackballed. But he's AAA's heavyweight champion, so
and he's
right
not going to
be. Yeah, so everyone's like debating if he's still going to be their champion because they're going to have a pay-per-view in a month or two. So they're kind of wondering, is he still going to be the champion by then, or what they're going to do? They're going to let him go and then throw the belt up for a tournament. But yeah, I've met Matt Riddle in Indiana. And he is just like he is on TV. He's down to earth. He reminds me of a very young RVD, if you catch my drift on that one. And then again, this is how fast Herb Simmons works. The death of Sabu was Sunday, right? No, Monday morning. No, was it Sunday?
I think it was Sunday.
Yeah. So it was on Mother's Day. So so Sunday he passed away, and Herbert's like, we've been promoting Sabu to come to this fan fest. And I feel like we owe them another person since the passing of Sabu. So he got on the phone, and like an hour later, Jerry the King Lawler was out on a flyer. And, and that's when you have some friends in some high places. So Jerry the King Lawler has been with us a few times. And Bobby, you guys showed the video of what he did to Bobby's son, signing that Funko Pop. Very cool guy. I do have his autograph on a picture of me and him that we took that same night. And he was very cool. I just walked up to him and said, hey, if you remember this night, it was a cool night for me. I got to meet you for the first time. And I was kind of hoping you would just autograph this for me. Not a problem. Just signed it right off. And, he was very busy that night because that was at the Mac show. So they were in and out, doing their own entrances and meeting with the fans and everything like that. So very cool guy. I think, he's fought a couple of our guys, before too. He beat up on Attila, which is great. And then he beat up on Kowalski as well. Yeah. So he's had some competition in the SICW rings before, so it's always cool to have the King back. Plus, he had that scare, that health scare, not too long ago, and we almost thought we were going to lose him, but he pulled through.
Yeah, when I saw that, my first question was, I thought he passed away.
Yeah.
I had to look to double check. Not that I don't trust her, but it's just in my memory, he passed away.
Yeah, I mean, him, and unfortunately, this is a good reason to come to the Fan Fest and get your pictures, because him and JR, I wish we had JR coming too, because that would make a great photo op. If you're a 90s kid, man, growing up watching wrestling, because JR's
One of the
not
best
doing
commentary
good either.
teams ever.
Right. But JR's not doing too good either. He's been battling cancer, some forms of cancer the last few years. They thought they had it beat, and then he ended up getting some more skin cancer. And I think, man, I don't know. I mean, having cancer altogether is bad, but it seems like skin cancer is like one of the worst ones too. It's like it never wants to fully go away. But Jacqueline's coming. Again, if you're a 90s kid, you remember watching her. She was, the women's champion for the longest time, and she was carrying that division. But she was also in WCW. So if you like WCW, she was in there a lot too. And she's a Texas native. She started, I want to say she was in WCCW. So very cool things to have her coming into the Fan Fest.
She started when WCCW was still active, before Jerry bought it.
Well, I don't know if it was during the phase when Jerry bought it or not. But just like the Undertaker, he started in WCCW. He tells stories all the time that Fritz hired him because he reminded him of David, Fritz's oldest son. So
He said he went there. I just watched this interview with him the other day where he went there for 4 or 5 months straight, and they never even said a single word to him. They just look at him, and he was about ready just to give up and be done. And that was when he's like, "Who is that guy?"
Yeah. And then, Greg the Hammer Valentine, man. Class act, seen him wrestling live before I was a wrestler. Got to wrestle him when I first started my career. Can't say, anything bad about this guy, except for it takes him a good 10, 15 minutes to warm up in the ring before the match starts. But that was I can't remember what a ring announcer always said that. Actually, I want to think it was Vince McMahon that gave him that thing. You got to give him 10 or 15 minutes during that match before he's warmed up and ready to go. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, Greg the Hammer Valentine. I remember when I first met him, I had his LJN figure, and he autographed on the figure for me. Of course, that was before I got into the business. But very cool, and a very junky steel cage match that we recalled on the podcast not too long ago too. Now, Gerald Briscoe, he's had a very long ass career in the wrestling business, so all depends on when you've seen him. As a kid, I remember seeing him wrestling at the Chase. Reruns. I wasn't alive during the original broadcast, but the reruns, seeing him on there, the whole thing about Black Friday, I think was the controversy about him. Him and his brother was partners with Ole Anderson. They had a very good wrestling organization down south. And this was when Vince McMahon was buying up all the old territories. And him and his brother went behind Ole Anderson, depending on who you talk to, went behind Ole Anderson and sold their half of the business to him, to Vince McMahon. And then they started working for Vince McMahon. And if you remember, I think they call them the Stooges in WWE, him and Pat Patterson. would always be Vince McMahon's right-hand guys and would get into all the clusters that Vince was getting into. And to this day, Bradshaw, JBL always talks about how him, Gerald Briscoe, and Pat Patterson had the most, how they used to calculate the hours of every show and the audiences for every hour. And that's how they could tell who was gaining popularity and who they should start pushing and making them the main events. Well, out of the whole Monday Night Raw, before they switched to streaming services, because now they can't do that breakdown of an hour. But him and Pat Patterson had the most audience for an episode of Raw, their little segment. So that's kind of cool. But Gerald Briscoe, I've met him plenty of times. I consider him a friend. He goes everywhere. So when we go to Iowa, he's going to be there because he's the big guy up in Iowa for that Hall of Fame out there. But he's, going to the CACs as well. And he's been into SICW a few times. So great guy, funny guy. And him and JBL have an awesome podcast going together as well. So very funny. And to hear them go back and forth because, JBL is from Texas and Briscoe's from Oklahoma. So that's like a rivalry.
That's a rivalry right there.
Yeah. JBL was telling a story about how he was driving. I don't remember who he had in the car with him. But the guy was wanting to puke, and JBL was like, "Do you want me to stop?" And he goes, "No, keep going." And so they kept going a little bit more. And he's like choking, wanting to puke. And JBL goes, "You want me to stop?" "No." And he goes, "Cross the border and going into Oklahoma." And he goes, "All right, now stop." And he opens the door and pukes. He goes, "If you learn anything from tonight, never puke in Texas. Cross the border and puke in Oklahoma, because that's what it is." So it's great stuff. Devon Dudley, part of the ECW, man. Like I said, he was on the show I was just watching. Great guy. He doesn't wrestle too much. He did get in the ring that night and wrestle, him and Bubba. But he's had a couple back problems and some hip issues, and so it's very rare that you see him get in the ring. Probably will never see him get in the ring again. But his sons are in the wrestling field now, so they're wrestling. So he's trying to help promote them as well. But anytime you have one of the ECW originals come in, it's a great time. So hopefully he'll give some stories about Sabu as well. What's to say about Dr. D. Schultz that hasn't been said around the world?
Don't say wrestling's fake.
Yeah. Don't ever go up to him and say wrestling's fake. Otherwise you get your head smacked off. But yeah, so he's a guy that got out. He was blackballed after that, even though he says he did what he was told to do. At the time, pro wrestling was really guarded, and they were told, anytime, this shit hurts. So if someone comes up to you and says something's fake, you beat the shit out of them. And that's what he did. And, since day one as a wrestler, that you're always told that, if someone wants to tell you that the pro wrestling business is fake, you show them how fake it is. But after that,
fake, it's scripted. There's a difference.
But after that, he was blackballed from everyone. So he got out of wrestling and started doing bondsman. He became a bondsman over in the Washington area, Seattle and all that. Really wasn't going to do anything in wrestling, but he decided he was going to write a book, and he was just going to throw it out there. And Herb got a hold of him and said, "Hey, to make your book sell, you need to get out here and, talk about it. Talk about your wrestling life." Because right before that slap heard around the world, he was a mainstay against Hulk Hogan. They wrestled a lot. And if you ever hear stories about him, Hogan liked him because he made him work. Because he wasn't going to give Hogan shit unless Hogan worked for it. And they had a lot of wars, but that slap heard around the world kind of screwed him out of a lot of money and being in the business. But since he wrote the book, Herb got him out of his house, and he's been on tour promoting that book, and he's back again. So props to Herb
Now-
Simmons for getting him out of the house.
Now, a question for both of you. Do you think if he did that now, it would be as bad?
Yes.
Would he
I
be
think
blackballed?
I think reporters and everything are softer, so it'd be worse because like that reporter ended up suing.
Yeah. But now, since the business has been so open, there's no reason for him to smack him. So if he did, I'm sure he would be blackballed and kicked out.
The boogeyman is coming to get you.
This guy had the shortest career run in WWE, but he makes a lot out of it. And even the WWE makes a lot out of it because he's always had a Legends deal. Ever since they let him go, they put him right into the Legends, legacy, not the legacy wing in the Hall of Fame, two different things. But he had a Legends deal because, for the longest time, right around Halloween, you knew he was going to come back. He just got a new figure released the last month or so. So he is constantly coming around. So he might have had just a few years in the business, but that character that he had, the Boogeyman, is so iconic and so, toy friendly that they always keep him around because his stuff sells still to this day. And like I said, maybe 3 or 4 years tops his wrestling career. He started on Tough Enough. And he lied on his application. They really liked him because he was a fitness instructor, bodybuilder, so he had the body, but he lied on his age because he's like Gary Jackson. He's like a vampire, and they let him go on Tough Enough because he lied, but they still brought him back in after the fact. He worked with Booker T for the longest time in Booker's promotion down in Texas before he got brought back into the WWE. And like I said, he only had a short career, but he is making the
I
best.
didn't realize Booker T's place was open that long.
Yeah. He gives credit to Booker T for training him. You know how it is. You open up a training facility, then you close it down for a few years, open it back up, close it down. The names might change, but he credits Booker T for training him in his school. So very cool. And I have some stuff from him that was given to me by a friend who used to make his T-shirts. So I have something for him to sign too, which is kind of like a rare item because it'll be like example of what one of his T-shirts should look like. So that's going to be kind of cool. So I'm definitely going to meet him. He's just so toyetic. I'm probably going to pick up his wrestler as well because I think they're still on the shelves. So even Bobby.
Do they come with a pile of worms?
Probably not, but he always had the clock that he would hang around his neck, and before the match he would take the clock and break it over his head, and then he would come out with that voodoo staff type thing, and have that creepy ass walk down to the ring with it. So very cool.
You mean the Jacob Fatu shake?
Pretty much, yeah.
You think if I just
All right,
go to the
folks.
fishing section and get a bucket of worms, they'll sign those?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside.
Have one of
Freeze
those-
dry. Freeze dry.
Have one of those styrofoam, containers of worms. Yeah. Either
Right,
that
folks,
or
we
probably,
wanted-
he'll
I'm gonna
probably
say we
ask
wanted to
for
keep
some
this to
meat.
an hour because of Jim's poison ivy itchiness. So even though we have a lot of people coming on Friday and Saturday, we have one more poster to get to, and then Jim will wrap it up. Last but never least.
Yeah.
I say we just talked about how great he's doing, or not great, but like, he's finally able to stand up with that DDP yoga. Hopefully, we'll see him take a few steps here.
Yeah, that would be great. And I don't know where they are, but I have one of his old figures that I just got, and I'm waiting for his new one to come in the mail. But just the stories that Abby was telling, when I helped take him up to his room last year, him and he's got a lady that is his business manager. And so I was walking them to the room, and he's telling me all these stories about wrestling in Japan and wrestling Brody. And I could tell that she wanted to freshen up. They just got out of the plane, just got driven over to the hotel, and you could just tell that she wanted to freshen up and stuff. And he would not let me leave that room. He just wanted to keep telling me all these stories. And one half of me was like, oh man, I want to sit down and listen. And the other half is like, ooh, I know she's probably the boss and she wants me to leave, so I better just leave,
Respect the lid and sit down.
But yeah, definitely cool. And like I said, he's got his brand new book. It's, this weekend is going to be the first days that you can actually buy it. They're going to have copies of it there at the show. So, the book's going to be there. He's going to be there. So you might as well pick it up and have him autograph it for you. So definitely some cool people that are going to be at this fan fest. And if anything about this podcast, I know it's been kind of down a little bit, and a lot of it's probably because my face feels like I just got beat up by Mike Tyson. And for the fact that Sabu passed away. So it's kind of got this lower energy vibe in this video. And I don't want to get that wrong. We're going to pay tribute to Sabu this weekend. We're going to pay tribute to Bruiser Brody, Tony Costa, Larry Matisek. And, something very cool. I don't know how I got it, who I got it from. But I was in my work truck this morning, and I have a habit of sticking stuff up underneath the visor, and I never really use the visor a lot because I'm so tall that it's in my way when it's even, folded up. But I lowered it today, and a baseball card type thing of Larry Matisek I stuck it up there. And, it's like a pro wrestling card, but it's like a baseball card. It gives you the stats about him on the back and everything. And I thought that was just so cool that I totally forgot how I got it, and totally forgot that I put it in the work truck and everything. So it was kind of very cool that I seen that today. But yeah, we're honoring him this weekend. Bruiser Brody's widow is going to be there. Barbara, she's always there to hand out the trophy to whoever wins the Memorial Battle Royal, which, Bobby's won it twice, which is great. I've been a winner of that as well. I was a heel back then when I won it, so it'll be nice for me to, my name's in the hat this year, so it'll be nice to me to win it as the Big Texan should. But
yeah, if you did, then we would have the podcast that has two-time winners record and only.
Yeah. And, that belt right there is being defended. The classic title against Steve Fender, Harley race trained pro wrestler. So that'll be a very good match. It's always a good match. They've both worked each other, not to take your thunder away from your Bobby, but they've both worked each other a lot. So they kind of know what to expect from him. But he is a very great competitor. So
there's nobody that pushes me harder than Fender. Like, we got a lot of strong personalities at SICW. You got people like Glenn and Sean that will do anything cheapskate they can to get the win. You've got monsters like Kowalski and Attila. But I would say Fender's like a mix of all of them with more of a wrestling pedigree to him on top of it.
Definitely. Now, also on the card, James Jeffries is going to be there. He's going to be taking on the Warhorse. So that's going to be a very good match. Warhorse hasn't wrestled for us in years. Yeah, so he's going to be there. You're going to have, let me trigger my brain here. I'm in a 6-man tag. I know it's me and Jason Breed. I can't remember who our partner is. It might be Curtis. And I think we're going against Peyton, Waco, and Shogun. So that's the match that I'm going to be in. There's going to be
Well, Beretta's going to be there too, isn't he?
yeah, Beretta's going to be there. He's going to wrestle a guy from Arkansas who's also in the UFC, not UFC, but mixed martial arts. I think his name is Colt. I think
Bobby, are you still on Herc's page? Because he has that post.
I'm going back to it now. I believe you're right, though. I can picture him, but
Lilith Khan is going to have a match against Miss Hyde. So there's going to be a women's match there. So that's going to be great. Gary Jackson is going to be wrestling. Justin Main Event is going to be there. He's going to be wrestling that night.
how great would it be to have Vampire versus Vampire?
That would be fun.
Gary Jackson versus Gangrel.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
No, people, Gangrel is not wrestling that day. Just with a good thought.
But that's too another guy who's just recently wrestled. You know, he had a match in AEW. So you never know. You never know. But I do want to call out that Dan Severn will not be there this weekend. Something came up, and he let everyone know on his Facebook page that he feels really sorry about it, but he will not be coming. I'm trying to think of all the other matches.
I haven't got to that one yet, but Glenn Williams versus Sean Vincent.
Yes.
There it is.
So,
Colton Vaught.
and I know he just had a mixed martial arts match last weekend, and he won. So he's coming off of a victory there to face Brandon Beretta. So that's going to be very interesting. I know Joey Vanetti is on the card. So he was able to get his license this year and is able to wrestle. That's just a little poke on him because he didn't get his license in time last year. So he wasn't able to.
That bloodfest.
He was there, though.
So, yeah, he was there. He just couldn't wrestle. And that caused them to drop the belts that night, So that might have been the start of the rift between those two guys.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yes.
When you're all about
yeah,
business and the partner's not.
Definitely going to have a lot of people in this battle royal. There's people coming up from Arkansas. Jason Jones, the Space Cowboy, is going to be in it. There's going to be a handful of people coming up from Texas. So a very good mix of people. I can't think of the name of the promotion that's coming up that's bringing those guys.
Is it James Beard's promotion? Texas Strong Style? Texas Strong or Texas Strong Style? I don't remember what James is.
I don't think it's that promotion, but it is another promotion. If you're on Herb's page, I know he posted about it. But that promotion's bringing up like 4 or 5 guys that go into the Battle Royal. There's going to be a tag match with those guys as well. So that's going to be interesting. Always nice to have new breed come in, and not a pun for the promotion. I'm just talking about new wrestlers coming into our coming into our promotion, because it's always good to have a new mix of people. I do think we have one of the best locker rooms to welcome people into, and it's always nice.
There's this American Giant guy. I see him.
Oh yeah, so he's going to be in the Battle Royal. He is from Redneck Championship Wrestling. He wrestles out there. This guy I have to look up to, and that's crazy because I'm pretty damn tall. Speaking, shout out, me and Bobby, we got to meet Gunther this weekend, promoting, which is funny because Gunther is from Australia, but he's promoting Real American Beer. He's
I thought he was Austrian.
I said Australia.
Austria's not Australia.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
Austrian, and you're saying Australia.
but we got to meet him, and Gunther is actually taller than me, which is shocking. I haven't met. Of course, I've
Not-
shrunk over the years.
Like I said, not by much, because the picture you sent me of you and Bobby both meeting them, it didn't. You guys, like, not by much.
Yeah, if I still was as tall as I was when I started wrestling, I would be as tall as him. But us old timers, we shrink. But it was very cool meeting him. That was probably one of the cool things because Real American Beer is coming this weekend. They're one of our sponsors. So you'll meet some of those people, and not too sure. Maybe they'll be handing out some beer. Hopefully, it'll always be a good thing. And just to remind people that this bar at this hotel is going to be open until 2 a.m. every night. So just heads up. So it'll be a great night, a great weekend. But
Now,
that's
what
all the
about
matches
after?
I can remember.
What about after 2 a.m., Jim? Because we have a history of going way beyond that.
There's always a hotel room that normally opens up. So
I'll
I'm
be
sure.
awake.
But yeah, so definitely cool things happening this weekend. If you haven't bought your tickets, I know the hotel I think is damn near sold out. So hopefully you can get into the hotel. But we will never sell out the Fan Fest. If you walk through that door and buy your ticket, Herb Simmons is gonna let you in. We got the Friday night show, the Q&A, storytelling. I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I always forget it.
Bill Abner.
Bill Abner. So he's hosting that Friday night. It's going to be an awesome show. You'll be able to meet us three because Nate will be there filming. And then Saturday, it starts at 10 a.m., which starts the Fan Fest. And then we're going to take an hour break at 6 o'clock is going to be the Hall of Fame. We got those 5 guys going in. And then at 7, there might be a couple minute break just to get the legends out of the ring and everything situated so we can have the SICW wrestling show start. So it's going to be a very long day, but a very cool day if you're a professional wrestling fan. And I can't wait. Nathan's going to be filming, so if you want to say hi to him, I'm going to be walking around myself. I'll be doing a little filming as well. It's just going to be awesome. Bobby's going to be selling some photographs along with a lot of other guys. I know Attila is going to be there selling.
I'll have the belt out there at the table, so you can want to stop by and see all the legendary names on it.
Don't forget, bring your stuff to have the people sign. Don't forget your camera. It's going to be a hell of a weekend if you're a wrestling fan. So,
and really quick before we go, Bobby, would talk about Landon and the buying the tickets to help him go farther.
Sure. So my boy, he qualified for Fargo, which is nationals at the high school level. He's on the 16U team for Team Illinois. And basically they sell these raffle tickets to help offset the cost because it costs $1,300. And that's travel and camp and food and all of that stuff. Gear packages because you have to have 2 singlets and all that. And so they're doing tickets where they sell them for $20 a piece. And in the month of August, every single day, they will draw a $100 winner. Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
I said, we can, if you want, I could send you the link that we could put in a pinned comment or something.
Yep, in the description. I'll put it in there. Yeah, text it to me, put it in there.
Will do.
You have, you going to bring a poster so people can do the QR code, scan it with their phone when they're walking around the table?
Yeah,
The square ring table?
Yeah, I got a thing already made up that I put on Facebook, and I'll print that out.
Yep.
The QR
So we can
code
put on the square ring table when you come by to say hi to the 2 local legends and ignore me.
In fact, he wanted to be here at FanFest, but he will be competing at another regional down in Kentucky, doing those two styles too, just getting a little better.
Nice.
Awesome.
You can't beat that. Hey, normally we end with a toy haul, so I do got 3 items I want to show off really quick. One is one of the new Razor Ramones. I really love this line. It's WWE Superstars. You can only buy them at Walmart. But it's like a throwback to the old AWA wrestling figures. So this was pretty cool. I've been picking these up a lot. I picked this guy up, another ECW legend. This is Taz. This is original San Francisco's toy line. Very cool. I used to have all these ECW wrestlers mint in packages, but I sold those off, and now I'm just trying to recollect them. But the one that I wanted to show off is something very cool. You know, I showed you the Undertaker as a zombie, which is his character was a vampire. Well, this one is a cross line. So, you know, WWE, the toy line is made by Mattel, and so is the Ghostbusters line. So they actually merged the two, and this is the Undertaker crossed over as a Ghostbuster, and he is actually a demon.
Is he a buster or is he a ghost?
He's one of the ghosts, because I don't know if you can tell, but he is all see-through but purple, and he comes with the championship belt. But yeah, I think this is a very cool line. This is the only one I wanted out of this line, but I will probably never open this one because the box is just so freaking cool. You know, Ghostbusters and the WWE logo, just really cool. But yeah,
You know,
so
just having that belt, calling himself a champion, is going to piss Gozer off. You know that, right?
Wow, yeah. But that's it. Just 3 pickups, and I think actually 2 of these were from a couple of weeks ago. But you know, that podcast we had last week, which I think is doing great, and is we found out that's going to be broadcast in 143 countries.
144 countries.
144 countries. So hopefully, you know, Evan gets us put on the map a little bit, because it was a great interview with Evan. We'll probably have him back on sometime in the near future.
I have a lot of questions and comments that we didn't get to because he's just fun to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little over 2 hours we did that podcast, which you know, we try to keep it down to an hour and a half. Most of the time it's about an hour and a half, but definitely we have a lot more stories we can talk to with Evan. Oh, also just a shout out for the Love of the Show 2 by Jeremy Housewright. That author is going to be at the Fan Fest. He's going to have his books. I'm going to bring this one with me so he can autograph his book for me. So very, very cool there. And if you haven't read it, it's a very good read. And it's basically about the fans, you know, how fans fell in love in wrestling. His first book is out there too. He's going to have printed copies of that one. And on that one, you can actually, you know, there's a female wrestler that he followed from the very beginning, and you know, she just got signed to WWE, so it's kind of cool listening to you know, how she began as just a fan of Bayley, and has turned it into a pro wrestling career. So kind of cool stuff. So definitely bring your pictures, bring your action figures, bring whatever you need, and have your cameras ready. FanFest is going to blow your mind this weekend. It's definitely going to blow all of ours. And I'm hoping, you know, 3 times, that means you got to repeat. That means it's a staple. So maybe there's a 4th FanFest in the future. I always like to sink that in, you know, start putting that into Herb Simmons' brain right from the get-go, you know.
FanFest 3, Bobby D getting the cup 3 times.
I like it.
Symmetry.
Oh. No. We got to make it even. I got to get it this time so I can have a 2-time cup. Bobby's a 2-time cup. I'm a 1-time classic. Bobby's a 1-time classic. I'm a 1-time Shriners
No, that
champion.
belt he had.
Bobby's
No,
a
you're
1-time Shriners champion.
no, you're
It was-
2-time because you got the first one and the second one, first year and second year.
Yeah, technically I never lost it, so I'm only a
Defended it.
1-time champion. They just happened to reissue a new belt. Bobby does have one over on me still, though. He is a Central States champion, multiple time Central States champion. So I still got some catching up to do. Yeah, we would all love to meet you guys this weekend. So definitely come around our table. Give us we'll shout you out in the podcast because everything this week, well, not everything this weekend is going to be recorded. Some things we got to keep to ourselves. If you come by our table, I'm sure we'll get you into the podcast and show you off a little bit for the following coming weeks. But anything else from you guys?
I think that's it.
When people come by the Square Ring table, just make sure you get Bobby's Only Feet and OnlyFans page, and
there you go.
Gotta make that money.
You don't want the Only Feet page. That's anyway. On a different note, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. We just do this for fun and enjoyment, and we would love to keep doing it. And man, it's been a great year so far. We've blown past our original goal. We have a new goal. It's higher, so we need your guys' help to share this so we can get some more subscribers coming in. And then we're going to always shoot for the stars. So until next week, I'm sure we'll have some FanFest recap. But until next week, we'll see you later. Have a good one, guys.
good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Peace.